Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Smiles, and on this channel we talk about spirituality, the law of attraction, self-development, and making every day the best it can be. So if those topics interest you, then you're definitely gonna want to subscribe below. So as you know by the intro and by the title of this video is about how we can connect with our higher self. In a nutshell, your higher self is the real you. It is the perfected you that is the soul or the consciousness behind the body, behind the form. Now, connecting with your higher self is kind of like a paradox because the truth is that we're always connected with our higher selves. We are our higher selves. And it's not just a connection, but it's a unity. We are one. There is no separation between me and my higher self. We are the same being. But because we are in these physical bodies, part of our physical experience here on earth is that everything to us appears like it is separate. But in reality, there is no separation. Everything is connected. And what it really means to connect with our higher self is to surpass our autopilot mind, surpass the ego, which is like our animal instincts that we all have, or our lower consciousness thoughts and tendencies. If we can surpass those lower level states of consciousness and we raise our consciousness to a higher level of understanding and awareness, then we can more easily connect with our higher self and receive communication from higher realms of consciousness. Now, I have here written down an explanation by Eckhart Tolle, who is a spiritual teacher and a best-selling author, and he basically states, "You are a human being. These two words not only describe who you are as a member of a particular species, but if examined more deeply, also point to the twofold nature of your identity. Human is who you are on the level of form, that is to say your body and your mind, and those two aspects of your form identity make up your conditioned self. The self is conditioned by genetics and the environment, as well as other factors as yet unknown to science. Being, on the other hand, points to the essence of who you are as a timeless, formless, and unconditioned consciousness. Human and being, form and essence, are ultimately not separate, in the same way that a wave or ripple on the surface of the ocean is not separate from the ocean or from any other wave or ripple, although it may appear to be so." Okay, so that's how Eckhart Tolle explains the separation or the illusion of separation. And I found that to be really interesting because what it means to be a human is to have the human body and to have the human mind and to have the human brain. But then the being is the pure consciousness and the essence of who we truly are, which is our soul. And he explains that they're actually connected. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, why would we want to connect with our higher self? What purpose would that serve us? First of all, it's the perfected version of you. Everything that you aspire to be is contained within your potential, which is contained within your soul, which is already in the blueprint of your existence. So the more we can access our soul, the more that we can communicate with it, the more that we can access from our highest potential. Our higher self is what will excite us with inspiration, with creativity, with ideas, with insights. And ultimately, it is living within you at all times. It's not separate from you. It's not something you need to go outwards to go seek. It is something that you look within to seek, and it contains all the answers. We want to get to a level where we're not looking externally all the time for answers. It's about trusting yourself to be able to make the right decisions with your intuition and with your instincts. And the more you connect with your higher self, the easier those instincts and that intuition will flow down to you, and the more the universe will be on your side to provide the best outcome in your favor. If you're working against the universe, then what's going to happen is the universe is not going to work in your favor. It's going to work against you. But if you're working with your higher self, working with the universe, then the universe is going to work in your favor, and it's going to present to you and affirm to you more of what you project outward. Ultimately, what everyone wants in life is fulfillment. And the way that we get fulfillment is not by obtaining physical things. It's from accessing realms within ourselves that is always living within us. And so like I said in my last video, we want to focus on listening to our soul more rather than focusing on our ego. So what I mean is, instead of focusing so much on my ego and what my ego's making me do, my ego's making me lazy, my ego's making me angry, whatever it is that our negative traits are, instead of focusing so much on those negative traits, focusing more on incorporating positive attributes in your life rather than focusing on taking away negative, because by adding more positivity, the negativity will just fade right off. If you want more information on that topic, that was my last video. I will link that above or also in the description below if you're interested in watching that. Your higher self is your best guidance in this life. Because it is you, it knows you better than anyone else ever will. So you can ask for advice, you can ask everyone's opinions, but at the end of the day, nobody knows your truest desires, your truest intentions, your karma like your own higher self does. Your higher self is connected with your subconscious mind, so it knows what you're still carrying. It knows the challenges that you need to overcome to be able to receive this thing that you want. So if you're constantly looking all the time for validation and for people to tell you what to do and what to think, that may not be your best course of action. So looking within, consulting with your higher self, and working with these methods that I'm about to share to connect with your higher self is ultimately what is going to be the best driver and the best guidance for your life and how you want your life to unfold, and making decisions in every single area. So anytime you get those inexplainable feelings or that intuitive feeling like you know something feels wrong, have you ever looked back in your life and thought, oh, I knew that wasn't the right thing, but I did it anyway. Why didn't I listen to my intuition? All of those intuitive nudges where you didn't know, but something higher than yourself was trying to guide you somewhere, that is your higher self trying to communicate with you. So now let's talk about how we can turn up the volume of our higher self and access more of that guidance from our higher selves in our daily lives. Many of us are so used to believing in only what we see with our physical senses. We live in a physical world, and that's just what we're used to. So as a result of that, we tend to ignore those nudges or those intuitive feelings from our higher self because those are energetic, they're not physical. So we tend to get those feelings and just push them under a rug and try to use our logical mind all the time. Now, while being analytical and being logical can have its advantages, there are definitely times when we want to listen to our intuition and to our higher self for guidance. Now, I would say the biggest thing is to be able to discern between the voice of your intuition and the voice of your ego. And the easiest way that you can tell the difference is that if you're feeling at all any physical sensations of anxiety, sadness, anger, confusion, tension, or fear, then that is the ego talking to you. Our higher self will only communicate with us with feelings of love, with gratitude, lightness, energy, happiness, etc. So that is the easiest way to discern between the two. If there are any of those negative emotions involved, then that is not your higher self speaking to you. If you're feeling lonely, let's say, in the middle of the night, and then a voice pops into your mind, it'd be a really good idea right now to text that guy from 5 years ago that screwed you over. Well, that's probably not coming from your higher self, because what emotional state are you in when you're hearing those thoughts? So think about the state that you are in when you get those feelings. If you get a spark of inspiration, that's your intuition, that's your higher self. If you get a feeling that is fearful or that gives you anxiety or that you're trying to fill some sort of void within you, some sort of lack, then that is strictly your ego trying to grab onto instant energy, and is probably not the best thing for you to listen to. So being able to discern between those two voices is crucial in connecting with your higher self, because the more you can identify the voice of your higher self and the voice of the ego, you'll know which thoughts to listen to more, to put more energy into, and which ones to listen to least that are connected to the ego, and to let those thoughts just pass by and not feed them any energy. The more you listen to those intuitive thoughts, the more they will come. So that's the first thing. Now, I'm gonna name some other ways that we can connect, and these are ways that I personally connect. So one that I do is journaling or intuitive writing. Especially this past month, I've been doing this a lot lately, and basically just literally word vomiting out into my journal, writing down like everything that I'm feeling, everything that's going on, any questions that I have, anything I want clarification on. and really allowing for that communication with my higher self. Sometimes I'll start writing down and not even thinking with my conscious mind about what I want to say, and completely letting go for my higher self to communicate with me through my intuitive writing. Now that's a really great way to communicate with your higher self. So something that you can do is ask a question, and then whatever is your first gut instinct that is not connected with the ego, it will start flowing out onto the paper, and then that will be your answer. You should be able to see right away if that answer is from your ego or from your higher self, because once again, it's either coming from a place of lack, fear, doubt, etc., or it's coming from a place of love, light, happiness, and for personal growth. If the answer seems wiser than usual, then that is your higher self. If it seems like it's forced, or telling yourself what you want to hear or someone else what they want to hear, then that is the ego. Now the second thing is meditation. Meditation really helps in shutting down those daily thoughts that get in the way and that are barriers and distractions from you communicating directly with your higher self. If you can shut out the outside world, then you will be in direct communication with your higher self. It's definitely the most valuable tool, the most valuable thing that you can do for yourself is to meditate. Now, it's not easy, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but it's the same thing like if you're saying, I want to get healthy and I want to gain muscle, but then not going to the gym. I want to be happy and I want to connect with my higher self and access the spiritual realm, but then yet not doing the action that it takes, which is meditation. So think about that example a little bit and just keep trying at it. It's not going to be perfect the first time you meditate. It takes a lot of time. I'm still not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. My thoughts get in the way all the time, but I think just the practice of it is really beneficial in shutting out the egoic mind, shutting out the external world, being able to observe your thoughts from an outside perspective and tuning into something higher than yourself. And if you set an intention to meet with your higher self during your meditation, then that is what will happen. Being present and being mindful is one of the most profound things that you can do. And being open to receiving answers and messages, no matter what form that it comes in, whether it comes from words, from feelings, from images, from sensations, whatever arises, be open to the experience, be present with the experience. Don't try to force any experience to come. Just observe and just be a part of and just be in this moment. Now, going along with that, another way you can access your higher self and communicate with your higher self is by looking for the signs that are around us at all times. I believe that everything has some sort of significance in our lives. If it's in our lives, if it's in our movie, in our frame of life, then it has something to show us. We don't get to choose what is of importance. But I will say that there are times when sometimes our eyes get specifically drawn to one thing, thinking this is a sign. Then what will happen is our egoic mind will come in and be like, no, that's not a sign. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. That's not a sign. But you want to listen to your gut instincts, your gut reaction. If you notice something out of the blue, then that is a sign. A sign is what you make it out to be, and the meaning will come to you through your higher self. So you want to trust that and believe that, because that will be a big tool in which you can use to communicate with your higher self. So pay attention to signs, pay attention to strong feelings and urges. So we want to not act upon those urges at all times, but be discerning with them. And how do you discern those thoughts? By observing them. And how do you observe your thoughts? By being mindful or by meditation. Now, another way that our higher self communicates with us with signs is through our dreams. Now, this one's really important because, like I said earlier, our subconscious mind is connected with our higher self. Our dreams could really have a lot to tell us about where our current state of mind is, what we need to work on, and patterns that are repeating in our lives. Again, when it comes to dreams, there isn't a one set answer on what does this dream mean? What does this dream mean? While there are different interpretations, at the end of the day, it's all about what does it mean to you, because it is coming from your higher self. So however you choose to interpret it is the meaning that will be given to that dream. So sometimes weird things happen in dreams, and usually dreams talk to us in symbols and in signs. And that's up to our interpretation to be able to discern what does that meaning telling me about my life. Where is there a blind spot in my life that I'm not seeing? Maybe there's a relationship with a person that is not yet healed, or a lesson that I've not yet learned, Or maybe I'm carrying anxiety, or I have a fear of control in my life in this area. Again, this is all very subjective. But again, this is just an example of how our higher self draws your attention to certain things. So yeah, those are my top ways of how we can connect with our higher self. And that's pretty much all for me in this video, guys. I hope you got some value out of it. If you did, please leave it a like down below. Also hit that subscribe button if you're not already. I would love to have you join me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!